Well, hello everybody, and welcome again to the Sean Sturrock Real Estate Show. We are super excited today to spend some time here with Mr. Darien Hall out of the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Guy's been in real estate for well over a decade, cranking out some serious volume. And as you can see from my little ticker below, this gentleman went from doing about what was it, 10 million in 2020 to 14 million last year with fewer transactions. So if you are that person going, man, how do I elevate my game? How do I get higher priced homes in the pipeline? You'll definitely want to pay attention. The guy's got some incredible experience and nuggets to drop with us. So can't wait to come right back with you. We'll see you guys in about 30 seconds. Well, I say that. Hold on, my bad. Here we go. Come back at you in just a minute. All right. Well, welcome to the show, Darien. I am so excited, man. You and I go back, I guess it's been almost about 4.5 years when I first met you. And I say this, ladies and gentlemen, before he begins speaking. And if you have ever a chance to meet this guy, there is something about, I have maybe a handful of people in my life that I've met, and within that first 10 or 15 seconds, you just feel something. And I don't know if it's an energy, it's an aura, you got something about you. And I meant it sincerely the day we met. When I saw the kind of volume you're doing, it immediately was one of the reasons I felt was the engagement you have with when you meet somebody. So first of all, hats off to you. Whatever that's mom and dad raising you right, whether it's the good Lord in your heart, whatever it is, Darien, you got some incredible energy and aura about you. So why don't we start off today for everybody just to get to know you a little bit better. If you want to share with us a little bit about maybe your personal life leading into what first got you into real estate and why you chose that avenue.
Of course, man. And first off, dude, thank you so much for those kind words, man. You as well. We first met, man. It was just a natural engagement, man, that to this day is just really grown. And I really appreciate you and for everything you've done for me to bring me into the EXP family, man. So thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, man. I'm 16 years in real estate now. And, for the first, I would say, 5 or 6 years, I've kind of just trying to figure out, my position with real estate and what that looked like. And, I started figuring out that for me, it's really about the relationship side of it and really going very deep and serving my clients and my community. And man, after that, things just kind of just scaled up from there. My background, coming from collegiate sports to working in a Sprint retail store really helped with kind of working with, I guess, a team dynamic within a team dynamic. And then just being able to, I guess, assess the needs of those other than myself. I work for a Sprint cell phone company, man. And, we had high volume of folks coming in and out, man. And that was my opportunity really to not only meet new people, but to serve them. And everyone that walked in the store, man, I tell you, man, even if they paid the bill, they were walking out with something. They're gonna get a headset, a new phone. It didn't matter. If I got a chance to interact with them, I was gonna help them, and they were gonna walk out with something. Yeah. So
let's go back for just a minute, because I think this could have had a lot to do with shaping you to who you became, and it could be a variety of things. But one of them I think is sports, and you just kind of breezed right over that. It's very impressive. When I found this out about you, share with somebody when you say collegiate sports, what you did at the college level in athletics.
I've played football all my life. I ended up going to Division II and Division I school here in Oklahoma, and I had an opportunity to continue to play. But I think what happened with me, it allowed me to have, at the time I didn't know it, but I was being groomed and programmed to have like a routine. And and now I'll share this with you. And my parents, they will attest to this. When it came to sports, working out, training, and I was all on board. And then it came into school, I was kind of like, and so
right there with you.
Okay, yeah. So you're right. But you're right though. The sports background really did help me, even to this day, to have a routine. And I'm really big about my routine. and just really honing in on, my mindset and just my personal growth and development, the health side, emotional. And a lot of that goes back to the collegiate sports world for sure.
Yeah. And I would tell you, if you're out there viewing this right now, whether it's live or you're seeing this down the road, you might see if you connect with Darien on Facebook. He'll do all kinds of posts to him at the gym early in the morning, 5:30. So if you're the person who's looking for that inspiration, that motivation, how do you stay disciplined? He's got a lot of great posts that he puts about his personal development, his fitness, all mixed in around everything you're doing. You're very well-rounded, so I respect you for that. That's
Thank you. It's really important. I feel like that is really important, not only just for being in the an entrepreneur, but just life, man. I've gone through several stages. The 5:30 workouts, they're more like 7:30 now. I have a daughter. She's 2, so she takes most of that time block. But as long as I'm able to get my spiritual, physical, mental clarity before I come into the office, before I go out into the community, it's a good day.
Yeah, I love it, man, because I'm the same with you. I know we both start with God first. It's God, family, and work. And so I've learned that from you, just watching from afar as well. And I try to implement that in my life as well.
Absolutely.
Let's go back for just a minute. In case there's agents looking at this that are, maybe around that 3, 4, 5 million, which is good volume, but they're going, man, how do I get to this 10 million mark and get to where I'm, living this kind of lifestyle that can obviously double and triple your income, getting up to that strong 6-figure. Speak to that for a minute. If you could go back right now for everything you've learned and you were coaching, and we'll get into some of your team here in a minute, but if you were helping coach someone from 2 to 3 million, try to go to 5 or 6 or 8 to 10, what might you tell them to do today?
An agent that's doing 3, 5 million, they're doing great. So first off, hats off to them. They're doing really good. An agent that's doing 3 to 5, they can easily do 10, and it's really about a more systematic approach to the business, So when you're at 3 and 5 million, you have the opportunity now to those clients that you have helped. Those are the ones who are going to continue to support you. I did a post just a few days ago from a client. When I first got into real estate, they've already done 4 transactions with me, and he has sent me an ungodly amount of referrals. And really, all of that goes back to, I wasn't even at $1 million yet in production when I met this gentleman, but I took really good care of him. And from that allowed him to trust me even more. And so then he started telling everyone else about me. And, it's hard when you're right in the middle of it, to think, oh my God, well, all I need to do is, do my job, do a really good job at it.
Yeah.
The hard part is making sure that you have a systematic approach to keep up and stay on top of it, So whether that's birthday reminders, whether that's following them on social media, and whether that's, doing pop-bys and checking in with them and just celebrating whatever successes that they're doing, that right there really leaves an impression on them to want to be able to support you. And we've had to have dialogues now with our database that specifically says, hey, will you help me? And I think a lot of agents are afraid to ask that.
And so that obviously is led, I'm assuming you've asked that now numerous times, and that's continuing to help. It might be a hard question to ask, but I would think most human beings out there, especially if they liked you and you engaged with them and you're asking for their help, I would think most want to help you. So that's just been that easy of just an easy transitional question to ask that has led to quite a bit of business.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Especially when you share with them like what you're passionate about. Like if you share with them, hey man, I'm looking to help another 5 families in the next 30 days, man, and I could use all the help I can. Is there anyone at work, or then we get a little bit more specific now with the way the market has shifted. Hey, is anyone at work or at the gym or at church that they've thought about selling a house or thought about buying a house that you can really connect me? Just introduce me. I used to say referral a lot. Referral I still use, but it just depends on the personality type. If I say introduction, oh man, of course, man, I introduce you to anybody. And then that's my segue to it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I love that. That's awesome. Yeah. So have you always been a solo agent? Were you ever on a team? Kind of speak to that. Did you start off your career? Were you by yourself? Did you join a team when you first began?
I've always been just a loner. I've just been that guy, man. I've never been affiliated with the team, but I've held a team, right? I've led a team, and what attracted me to EXP though is, prior to EXP, that's where my business was. My business was, I got a team, got buyer agents, got listing, I got all this, and then I'll be, the team leader. And this is right as things were just the market was shifting, on like the brokerage level, and agents were a little bit more conscious about leads and tools and splits, and so when all that happened, I was kind of like, oh, man, I can't afford to have a team, man, and this is starting to wear on me a little bit. So that is when I was introduced to you by way of my barber, which it just changed my lifestyle forever, because then I started looking at things from a different lens, and I figured out that I can still have that cultural dynamic within my group and not necessarily be a team. And then they're not worrying about additional splits. I'm not worrying about the overhead of having lease space and generating leads. I can just teach them how to do that, and then I can benefit from their successes under the dynamics with EXP.
Yeah. I'm going to speak to that for just 1 minute for anybody who might be viewing this. And obviously, feel free to reach out to Darien or I for more details on this. But one of the things I fell in love with, and it sounds like Darien did as well, is, for years and years now, we've all been able to build a traditional team. And there is definitely reasons for it. And I think we're going to touch on that in a minute. And that's what you had prior to coming to EXP. But I think as you evolved and so forth and saw this model, what we can also do here is we can have a traditional, but we can also build what's called a modern team or a revenue share team. Yeah. So speak to that, because now you have 14 agents on your modern team revenue share team. Talk about the advantages of that, maybe over a traditional team, but then we'll go back and talk about, because there's benefits to both. But what has been the true value and benefit you've seen by building a modern team over here at EXP?
Yeah, initially there was a challenge because I didn't officially know what my role would be,
Yeah.
And we just kind of naturally figured it out. We started working, as with the EXP, we're in the, we're in the world. So we're already in the meta universe, we've been using that. And so now we just leverage that together within that modern team. And now we're able to share strategies and, what's working and what's not working, without having a true responsibility as, okay, now I need to make sure I do, X amount of calls, or I need to go door knock X amount of doors. It falls solely on that individual agent, but they have the synergy and they have the accountability actually within the group without necessarily having a true commitment, and I think agents, again, it's personality type. Some like that. Some like to have the flexibility to I just want to get all this information and then, work on the execution part. And I think in that dynamic, the modern team works really well.
Yeah. Agree. Totally agree. And we obviously can help you guys with any more details offline. Feel free to reach out to us. But I want to ask you this question. So you came over to EXP, I guess it's now been about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Am I correct? Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe share with us 1 or 2 examples where EXP went above and beyond to help you and your teammates here at EXP.
Oh man, dude, I love EXP, man. And I'm not saying that as a, I don't drink Kool-Aid. Okay. So I'm just say that for me, it really has been the way I wanted to do business. I still hold a broker's license, EXP, they won't necessarily sponsor a broker. So my background, comes from having a independent brokerage, and we worked as a team dynamic. But what I'll tell you is the struggle that I had is, having the administration, having the resources, having the tools to provide to the agents. Now I'm able to really leverage EXP's tools and pass off this, which I'll share this story with you, the transaction piece of it. Most of the trouble that a lot of agents have is it comes down to paperwork and, man, what is this? And, how do I get, how do I complete this form? And we just dude, we just really leveraged the transactions team at EXP. An example would be just a recent closing we had. We had a transaction that was really fluid. Things kept changing, you know, and
Yep.
as much as you like to control things just pretty much happen. And EXP, the transactions team, dude, they were with us every step. I mean, they were on top. We were like, hey, we need another commission disbursement form like right now because the lender says, you know, we need to put this off and we got to change that.
Yeah.
And you know, the fear of working in this capacity is you think, oh my God, like they're not going to be able to turn this around so quickly. What am I just going to take another day? I got to go. And I mean, they were just, hey, Darien, we got you. Here's this, here's that. And for me, man, that spoke volumes to the service that they have to make sure that we are able to succeed. So definitely transaction management. The other piece I would say is this: I don't really have to use it as much, but it is available to our agents. Is, dude, if there is something that gets to the point where you're like broker level, hey, I need to speak to the broker.
Yeah.
Dude, we can easily access our broker from either our workplace chat or we just hop in the cloud, man. The broker, they're available, you know, through the online means of communication, and it's just been great, man. I like I said, coming from the independent brokerage world, I had to be the person that they would come to. I had to be the person that would help with the transactions, right?
Yeah.
And now I'm just able to pass that off to EXP, and it's just been wonderful.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. So one of the things we do over here, you guys at EXP, is we're very fortunate and blessed as agents, team leaders, brokers, no matter what position you're in, we can get paid 3 different ways. And I just want to touch on one of them. We won't go into the detail, but we have a piece that can literally help agents get set up for retirement or maybe create an exit plan, or I always like to say at minimum, look up one day, 3, 4, 5 years down the road. And if you wanted to have the option to possibly pull back the throttle maybe on your personal production, because you can start to hand some of it off to your team, do some splits and start gaining some of your time back. But speak for just a minute to the equity piece and what that could mean to you or any agent if they were to ever park their license here and do business for a few years.
Yeah, like we discussed earlier, I work in a solo agent capacity. I just leverage the modern team concept with EXP, with our attracting other agents.
Yeah.
And so, what I've been able to do because of that is I've been able to really prioritize my business. I'm not chasing. When I first started, I'm not doing some of the things that I had to do to get business now. I'm really focusing on my database and my relationships and spending more time there to generate more business that way and get into, for me now, different price points. But I would only be able to do that now because of the way we're set up within EXP. Otherwise, I would just have to, it would be an annual, oh my God, I got to do, 40, 50 transactions to keep that same income.
Yeah.
I've just figured out now I can just leverage that. And now, for me, I've always been the type that, I want to work smarter, not harder. I don't want to have to do 50 transactions a year. It's just, I'm just not designed personally for that. And I know there are agents that do, far more than that. And that's awesome for them. But for me, I've prioritized my business in my life where I want to be able to leverage the EXP model so that I'm not having to work as harder.
Yeah. So a couple of things I want to touch on that the audience may not be aware of, but over here within our brokerage, we definitely compensate agents that are at a high production in a very, very rewarding way that can potentially really help expedite their retirement plan. I mean, usually that's agents around that 7, 8 million, 25 plus transactions or greater. But speak for just a minute. You've been here for 4 years, and I'd imagine you've created a little bit of a nest egg is starting. Not to go into details, but again, I'm wanting agents to fully understand there's something so unique here that by doing nothing different than you've been doing in the past, we begin to pay you a second way, which is really equity. All of us are owners over here. We like to say this is an owner-based agent company. All of us are equity owners the moment you sell your first house. You've been doing this 14 years, but try to imagine Darian, if an agent was just getting started, it doesn't matter if you've been around 5 years, but you're going to be in real estate for another 5 to 10 years.
Yeah.
What do you think that would look like for almost any agent who is going to come in and make real estate a full-time career? If you're over here, what could that look like in 5 or 10 years from now from an equity standpoint, retirement, exit plan, whatever? Speak to that for a minute.
Oh yeah. Looking back, man, we've never really had an opportunity like this in real estate. We've just always kind of been, I need to sell X amount of houses every year to make X amount of income. And, agents, we're just wired that way now. Well, the thing about this, and if I'm a new agent and I already know, hey man, I have a passion for helping people. I love real estate. I am going to be in real estate. This opportunity is hard to pass up now because like you mentioned, we have ownership within this company. And that's really huge for me because like I said, it was never available to us. We worked for whatever company and that was it. Well, with this ownership piece, now guess what? You have access to other agents who have ownership, who want to see you do well because we collectively do better. And that's the big piece I think a lot of agents miss is, oh my God, everyone has their thing about every brokerage. But for me, the true value is ownership. So now I know that I can speak to whatever agent and whatever, market area, and they're going to be willing to help me. They're going to share with me because again, if I do well, we do well together collectively. And that's the thing. If I'm a new agent, I need to go in with that mindset. Like, hey, you know what? I am affiliated with a group, with a company where agents have equity position. Dude, the last thing I want to see is an agent that comes in and they need help and I don't help them, or I don't help them get the help that they need. I think just culturally, it just wouldn't be a good fit for how we're set up.
Yeah. So let's answer this question that's scrolling across the bottom here. If you guys see this little ticker where Darien went from 10 million in 2020 to 14 million, we talked about it in the initial opening here of the show. To me, that's pretty substantial. Not only did you grow by 4 million in volume, right? A lot of agents would like to do just 4 million in volume. You grew by 4 million, and yet you did less transactions. Yeah. Okay, let's spend a couple minutes here, man, because I can tell you if I was doing what you were doing right now, I'm in a very unique position also. We're not going to get into all that, but if I was selling houses right now at a high level, boy, that would be one of the main things I would want to do is how can I sell fewer houses and make more money, right? Have more time freedom, flexibility, and not be running like crazy. So speaking of that, that's a pretty huge jump, in my opinion, a $4 million jump, and you're selling fewer houses. Yeah. Educate agents on how you've done that and what could they do to apply the same thing to their business.
Man, great question. As cliche as it is, and I know we say it a lot, especially some of the real estate coaches, it does go back to relationships and serving our clients. But man, the reality is that's just the fundamentals of real estate, man. And I've really learned to get back to the fundamentals. I was at a point where I was chasing, all kind of lead sources, and I went through a phase of burnout, and so then I had to, I had a moment of clarity, and I said, dude, you work best when you're able to serve someone that genuinely wants your service. And so what I figured out is I just kind of, said, hey, this is what my prospective client looks like. And because I already had a database, I kind of just molded that vision of the client. I said, okay, well, where do they go? What do they like to do? And I would strategically be there, right? Or I would place myself in certain venues or, certain gyms. I like the gym part. I really like that. But no, I was able to continue to build on that and ask them to introduce me to who they know. And so I'll tell you this, man, I've worked with CEOs, I worked with athletes, I worked with high net worth, and I've worked with entry level, workers. I got introduced to the CEO because of someone that worked entry level. They said, hey, man, I told my boss about you. And that led me to get to that price point, you know, and so then obviously, you know, people just like for you to take care of them. And when you do a really good job for them to take care of them, they have no problem referring you to whoever. So I would say, you know, anyone that's looking to maybe increase that price point, I'm going to say, man, continue to ask the folks that you already know, or be in the environments that you know that the high net worth, you know, that I'm not I do it. So, hey.
Yeah. Are you, and I don't know where you do your gym membership. Is it Lifetime or where do you do your, is it? Okay. Cause I'm sitting.
I'll keep it real with you, man. I'm probably going to have a gym membership at all the gyms in a minute.
But if you're around that higher echelon clientele, Lifetime Fitness is a nationwide. If those who've never looked at it, it's, you know, it's about it's like 120, 130 bucks, I think, for an individual now compared to your goals and all that kind of stuff. So you're definitely going to probably have a higher end clientele, restaurants, things like that. So that's a good little nugget. Hang around.
Restaurants, venues, art. I mean, you know, whatever hobbies, you know, and stuff like that. Philanthropy, all that stuff. Like that is, you know, if that is the client that you're wanting to attract, then that's where you need to be at. That's where you know, and more so if you can get introduced to that, you know, if there's someone there that says, hey, I want you, you know, here's Darien, and then you become like that face of familiarity kind of sets in, and then that's really how you can take that thing to a whole nother level. I'm still working on that.
Well, you're doing well. Obviously, numbers show it. But let's do two more quick questions and bring this thing to a close. So, has there ever been any point where you felt stuck in your business prior to joining EXP? Then you came over to EXP, and that somehow got solved over here?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, dude. When we met, it was God sent. But dude, my barber told me about you. I had just, you know, he's a great barber. I don't use him anymore, but I was like, that was my in-between barber as I was getting to my other barber. You know, I met this gentleman.
Like a divine appointment. I agree, no doubt. Divine.
I'm telling you, man.
Yeah.
And so at that time, the brokerage I was affiliated with, they wanted me just to, you want to earn more income? Well, just go buy another like market area or something. They wanted me to go put a whole nother office somewhere. And so then I'm looking at leases. I'm looking at, you know, advertising. And I was like, man, this is going to be like 40 grand a month. You know? And I was like, nah, that ain't going to work. And then we had our conversation. You showed me EXP, and I said, this is me, man. This is perfect. This is it. I can still use the same strategy. I still have the same desire to build this thing without me now having overhead, without me having true responsibility for admin and tools and all that. And all I get to do is what I like to do, which is inspire, which is motivate. Oh yeah, I'm off of that.
Yeah. So I hope you guys all heard that. If you're maybe somebody who's debated starting your own brokerage, or he said, like you said, maybe you're at a particular brokerage where they've given you the option to maybe open up your own franchise or something, and all's fine and dandy. But I hope you understand what Darien was just saying. He's able to do that within this model and not have to raise expenses at all. We all pay the same thing, $85 a month, but you not only can build your own brokerage within our brokerage, and not just in your city and state, globally, right? We can have a reach now around the world. I think we're in 21 countries. So again, we throw some of that stuff out. If there's any intrigue at all, please reach out to either one of us with zero pressure. We'd love to just personalize this model and show you what it might be able to do for you if you ever want to call this home one day. So one last question I'd like to throw out. If somebody is looking at this and or comes across it and they've contemplated EXP and so forth, what might you say to that person who maybe they've seen the model, but they're on the fence? What might you say that could potentially be something, I guess, that would help them make their decision?
You know, I mean, they're going to have to help me with that. I think I would have to have follow-up questions to understand, you know, why they're on the fence, you know. And so if that comes to, you know, if they're speaking to maybe, you know, branding or, you know, net income, you know, stuff like that, I'm going to tell them what you discussed earlier. Dude, continue to do what you've already been doing, and then just leverage. At some point, you would naturally attract agents and then just let that be your additional stream of income without you doing anything. Just keep selling houses. You don't have to. You have to go out and. I'm not asking anybody to call anybody or go chase anybody.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, hey, look, do a really good job, and then at some point, other agents will see that and they say, "Man, what did you do?" And so, I know I just shared with you what I thought that because I think that's probably what we hear a lot. I don't want to be in that and do this. And I'm like, well, don't do it. Just know that you can continue to work how you already are, but now you have the opportunity to have an additional stream of income, which is huge from doing what you're already doing.
Yeah. That's incredible. Because if I can speak to that also for 30 seconds, guys, the true beauty of being here, again, you have the equity piece that's automatic, a second way you get paid. That third component, like you said, totally optional. People that might want to build what we call a modern team or rev share team, but the way you just spoke to it to me is perfect. If you're out doing what you need to do as an agent, you're growing your business and doing well, other agents are going to look, watch, and follow you online, right? Because a lot of them like, how is someone doing 10, 12, now 14 million? And a lot of them are just automatically, it's very appealing to come to someone like you or have that opportunity to work with you. Over here, they could end up being able to team up with Darien. He now has 14 people on his team without him having to take any money out of your pocket. He's still willing to coach and build this culture. And so if I led to one last question for you, talking about that within our little family here. So there's about 85,000 agents at EXP. We've been fortunate within our freedom team here to have a group of agents of a couple thousand plus. We're up to almost 2,500 now, which is amazing. But we've created this freedom team about 9 months ago. We hired an executive assistant with 25 years experience, Kim. She's come in and helped us put all these systems and so forth in place and continues to help us take our game to another level. But talk for just a minute. If somebody were to want to team up with us, they're not just getting Darien, Sean, and our culture and our group we've talked about, when now we've taken it to another level with the freedom team. Talk about that for a minute, what that could mean to any agent if they decided to team up.
Yeah, man, I love that, man. There's so much information shared within the freedom team group. I absolutely love it. And so because of that, you have an opportunity to really see, what's working for, another agent that, you may have similar style of business, right? And I think that's really important because, we can do real estate. You can work this thing however you want to work it, man. And being able to have access to people who actually do work it differently is great, man. And I love it, and Kim's awesome. The way she has set up all of the, I think she runs the lead gen training. Yeah.
Every
Dude,
week.
if I'm a new agent, I'm in there. I'm going to that every week. Like that is invaluable. I'm in there. So yeah. And again, this is even outside of what, EXP offers, right? This is, the synergy that we have within our group, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah. Well, first of all, Darien, thank you so much, man, for your time today. You spent a half hour with us, man. Sincerely appreciate it again. Hopefully you guys can see that he's just contagious, man. He's passionate. And he loves what he does, loves to serve people. And hopefully you see that and can implement that into your life if it can help you elevate your game as well. So until then, man, we'll catch you guys on the next go around. Thank you so much for your time today. Hope everyone has a blessed week. Let's wrap this up with the last 30-second show. And thank you, Darien. We appreciate you.
Thank you for having me, brother.
All right, buddy.
Fun.